Bud, who seems to be retired, sure has Boots on his mind, right?
Yeah, I know Bud keeps saying he's retired, but also what Bud is not saying, right? He keeps talking about the fight, and that's for a reason. Bud's one of the most competitive people I've ever met, if not the most.
Yep.
100%. A plus versus A.
That's A plus versus A. I like that.
Terrence just a little too much and will catch him.
Yeah.
And buzz Boots. And
yeah.
I think that'll. I think Terrence stops him.
It's such a special fight because you got two alpha males in the ring.
Boxing experts are now calling on Terence Crawford to return from retirement and face Jaron Ennis after Boots earned another impressive victory. The pressure keeps growing as many believe that if Crawford truly says he is 10 steps ahead of Boots, then he should come back and prove it inside the ring. That is why this discussion has become so intense. Crawford is the proven legend with an outstanding career, while Boots is the younger boxer with the size, speed, power, and determination to challenge him.
Terence Bud Crawford makes it official, rejects the notion that he could come out of retirement to face Jaron Boots Ennis, stating he really has nothing to prove. Wishes Boots Ennis well on his journey, but he ain't coming out of retirement for no dang Jaron Ennis.
Even though Crawford continues to say he has no plans to fight again, many people in boxing still want to see him return to the ring. Sean Porter spoke highly of Terence Crawford, and his opinion means a lot because he has faced him in the ring. Sean knows Crawford is respected for much more than his record or championship belts. He understands the way Bud approaches every fight. Crawford stays calm, thinks clearly, fights with intensity, and constantly studies everything his opponent is doing. He can begin carefully gather information, and then slowly remove every advantage until the fight is completely under his control. That is why Porter's opinion is so important in the debate about Boots Ennis. He has experienced Crawford's timing adjustments and constant pressure firsthand. So when fans say Boots should bring Bud out of retirement, Sean knows exactly why Crawford is still such a dangerous opponent. Boots has youth, size, and power, but Crawford has the ring intelligence to turn even the smallest mistake into a costly one.
That are true alpha males, you know what I mean? I was an alpha male until I got in the ring with that dude.
It just,
that dude, like, it was like, the more he wasn't allowing me to do what he wasn't, and it was like, damn, okay. Well then, you know.
You had one of them in eights and the other in sparring?
I don't know, because that dude hit me with a right hand in the sparring, and I was like, I was like, yo, that was real.
It's one of those things where Boots is good, but once you run in there with that, you're like, damn, I thought I was good.
Ade Oladipo made it seem like Boots could be the one fighter capable of bringing Crawford out of retirement. That response shows why this possible matchup is creating so much excitement. Ade is not saying Boots cannot win. He believes Boots has the type of fighting style that would make this contest thrilling because Ennis is ready to stand and exchange punches while making the fight physical whenever it is needed.
All right, let's talk about Boots versus Crawford. And look, do I think Boots versus Crawford could happen? Yeah. Do I think it will happen? I guess that's down to Terence Crawford. We know Boots wants it. Eddie will take it straight away. Will Terence Crawford bite back? I think so far, he's put out a tweet. He's been quite complimentary. I saw a video he did with all the smoke, quite complimentary of Boots' win. I almost want to see that nastiness in him come out. And it's there, trust me. I've been around Crawford quite a lot in the last few years. If someone pokes the bear, 9 times out of 10, Crawford will poke back. Could this be the 1 time out of 10 where he doesn't? I don't know. I don't want it to be. I've always felt that when Terence Crawford says, I'm not fighting again, obviously, look, he's been doing it for 30 years. Terence Crawford's, 38? He's been boxing since he was 7 or 8. So it could just be a case of, I want to do something different. He travels the world. He's in Tanzania right now. He's enjoying life. But I always felt he retired because where were the challenges? The big challenge was Canelo at 168. He done that. There was no real challenge at 154. He wasn't going to fight Sebastian Fundora or Virgil Ortiz. They weren't really making a play for him. There certainly wasn't challenges at 160. Carlos Adames, Alam Kanali, Hamza Shiraz. Nothing to tempt him. This could be the one that tempts him back for one more.
Max has great respect for Crawford. He believes Bud is one of the smartest boxers of this generation, with excellent timing, patience, counterpunching, and the ability to adjust better than almost anyone. At the same time, Max sees Boots as a completely different challenge. Ennis is younger, bigger, stronger, more active, and physically powerful in a way that could force Crawford into a much tougher fight than many expect. That is why Max's opinion caught so much attention. He was not claiming Crawford is overrated. He was saying Boots has the right qualities to make the fight difficult. His switch hitting different angles, size, wide range of punches, and constant pressure could give Bud a fresh problem to figure out. According to Max Kellerman, if Crawford returns and faces Boots today, Ennis may have enough youth, skill, and power to defeat him.
Well, because Boots has been talking. That's why.
I mean, look.
Not much. Talking much.
Here's the thing. If Bud is 90% of who he has been,
Yeah.
Boots got no wins against Bud. He ain't gonna be. But Bud would beat him up and knock him out.
He's fresh.
But now Bud's been off for a year. If Bud is off for a year and a half, 2 years, and he's pushing 40, and the thing about Boots is he's a young man with young man reflexes, a sizzling offense. All of a sudden, your body's not responding the way it used to a guy like that. It becomes an interesting matchup. What do you think of this?
And there's a reason he's talking about it, all right? Look at what read between the lines here. Why mention him?
Bradley understands that Crawford has the achievements, the ring IQ, and the championship experience. No one can take those accomplishments away from him. His point is that Boots is not the kind of young fighter who should be judged only by the mistakes he makes. He is bigger, active, motivated, and continues to improve every part of his game. That is important because Crawford would not be facing a finished fighter. He would be meeting someone who is still developing while already being a serious threat. What makes Boots unique is the physical pressure he applies without being predictable. He can switch stances, throw punches in combinations, attack from unusual angles, and turn a fight into chaos whenever he chooses. Bradley believes that could be a serious challenge for an older fighter who has been talking about retirement.
Because Boots said that in the interview that he will knock out Bud Crawford.
He said easy work.
And he also said, and he also said that
this ain't Xander Zayas, brother.
But he's also said that that Bud ducked him.
Right, but I'm saying Bud wouldn't even respond to him if he wasn't at least thinking about it a little bit, right?
But Bud, he's freshly retired.
Right.
You're talking about a competitive dog. And we got this guy over here talking crazy, saying that I'm easy work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to sit here and watch it, and I'm going to pick it apart myself. And
According to Showbiz, the adult Terence Crawford watched Boots Ennis earn his latest victory and did not view it as the huge superstar performance that many fans were celebrating. His opinion was that Bud believed the reaction was being exaggerated without needing to say very much. Boots secured the win and stopped Xander Zayas, which quickly led many people to start calling for a fight between him and Crawford.
What do you think about what Terence Bud Crawford said here?
I think we overhyping this victory, you know, in a sense where nobody picked Xander to win. Everybody was kind of like, okay, he's in over his head and it's a matter of time before Boots catch him and end the fight.
Again, noodles, no packet. I don't give a damn. No bullshit.
From Crawford's point of view, the performance also revealed several weaknesses. Boots looked exciting, but he was far from flawless. He was caught with clean shots, stayed within punching range too often, and gave Xander opportunities that a top-level fighter would quickly recognize and take advantage of.
Only thing that bothers me is all of you booty buddies out there talking about, hey, Terence Crawford will whoop Boots. Boots ain't ready for Terence Crawford. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Because we were saying this a while back, a year ago, even more than that.
Crawford was not claiming that Boots lacks talent. He was simply saying that the excitement around him might be growing too quickly. A knockout victory can make fans overlook the small mistakes, but experienced fighters like Bud always notice those details.
So my breakdown with Boots and Xander is, you know, I felt like Xander f***ed the wrong fight, you know, but, you know, a lot of people knew that Xander was green and he was taking a fight too soon. But at the same time, you can't exchange with somebody that's faster than you and more athletic than you. So I thought that was the wrong game plan in his own right. You know, Boots is more faster, sharper, especially in the exchanges. And I think that's what led Xander to get hurt the times that he did get hurt, because he got caught with a shot that he didn't see.
From Crawford's perspective, Xander is a talented young fighter with a bright future, but facing Boots this early was a major gamble. Boots was bigger, stronger, more experienced at that level, and far too dangerous for a boxer who was still developing. So while many people praised Xander for taking on such a tough challenge, Crawford saw the situation differently. He believed Xander may have stepped up before the right time. That is what made his opinion stand out. Crawford was not saying Xander lacked ability. He was saying that timing is everything in boxing. A fighter can have talent, confidence, and courage, but choosing the wrong opponent before being fully prepared can change the course of a career in just one night.
Well, you know, I just look at him as inexperienced. Like, he really just gave his corner the opportunity to do whatever they wanted. That's how I see it.
Okay. Meaning when he looked over to them?
Right.
Okay.
But that's what you taught. You know, you taught when you get a knockdown or if you get hurt, look at your corner. So I wouldn't say that he quit because he took the big step in getting in there when he didn't have to.
How did you think Boots looked?
Boots looked like himself. He was sharp, he was explosive, and, you know, the experience that he carried in the ring allowed him to be victorious that night, and his skills and talent.
Did you think he would look like that, or did you think he would look better, worse? What were you expecting going in?
I wasn't expecting anything.
Okay.
I was just expecting to watch Xander fight and Boots fight.
Jaron Boots Ennis is now calling Terence Crawford and Devin Haney easy work, and that bold confidence is making this debate even bigger. Boots is not speaking like a fighter who is willing to wait for his opportunity. He sounds like someone who truly believes he is already better than the fighters people continue to rank above him. Crawford has the legacy, the achievements, and the ring IQ, while Devin has the skill, movement, and discipline. But Boots looks at both of them as opponents he believes he can beat. He is not only asking for the biggest fights. He is saying those fights are there for him to win and may even be easier than most people expect. After stopping Xander Zayas, Boots believes his power, size, speed, and confidence have all reached the right level. But calling Crawford and Devin easy work also creates huge expectations, because once you make those claims, the fans expect you to back them up. From this point, every performance Boots delivers will be compared to those two names.
Boots, I'm gonna ask you some names. I need to know, does easy work pop in your mind or a challenging fight? Xander.
Easy work.
Charlo.
Easy work.
Fedora.
Easy work.
Errol Spence.
Easy work.
Devin Haney.
Easy work.
Terence Bud Crawford.
Easy work.
Jaron Boots Ennis then made it clear that he is not concerned about Terence Crawford. Boots said he does not care about Crawford, and that statement showed just how confident he feels at this stage of his career. From his point of view, Bud can respond, online fans can continue debating the matchup, and people can keep mentioning Crawford every time Boots is discussed, but Ennis is not acting like he needs Bud to prove his worth. That is why his response stood out. Boots is moving forward with complete focus on his own journey. He wants world titles, he wants the biggest fights, and he wants to become undisputed champion. If Crawford returns, Boots believes he can beat him. But if Bud remains retired, Boots has no intention of waiting around. His message is straightforward. Crawford can speak, fans can make comparisons, but Boots is focused on the opponent standing in front of him.
We ain't worried about what he got saying. Retired. You know, we focus on tasking. Taking over this division. We ain't worried about no retired fighters.
Yeah, y'all keep on throwing Terence up. Terence told you he retired. Leave Terence alone. Let him do what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Have fun and enjoy his family.
Boot.
He made the statement. Who that?
Blood made the statement.
All of them. I don't care who makes the statement. You know what I mean?
Greg's point was that Boots cannot spend his entire career waiting for Crawford. Bud has the legacy, the respect, and the outstanding resume. But if he stays retired or has no interest in returning, then Boots has to keep moving forward. From that point of view, saying he does not care about Crawford is not a sign of disrespect. It is Boots making it clear that his career will not stop because one legend chooses not to fight him. That is why Greg understood the message. Boots wants championship belts, the biggest names, and the chance to become undisputed. If Crawford returns, Ennis believes he can beat him. But if Bud remains on the sidelines, Boots still has other opponents to pursue and bigger statements to make. According to Greg Hackett, Boots is carrying himself like a fighter who refuses to let Crawford's name decide the direction of his career.
Yeah. And we fighters. Listen, we fighters. We not rappers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Rappers gotta talk. Fighters gotta fight. Let's fight. Why do I gotta call you? You want this man to wake up in the morning and be like, Bud, like, come on, bro. What the is that? You know what I mean? And listen, anybody will tell you, I with Bud Crawford. I with Bud. I think he one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever do it. I think Boots, one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever do it. Let's just get to it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get to it. No need for footing.
Coach Breadman also reacted to Boots Ennis, saying he does not care about Crawford and he focused on the difference in levels. According to Breadman, Xander Zayas was an easier opponent for Boots because Ennis had too many advantages in that matchup. He was stronger, more experienced, more creative, and once he settled into the fight, Xander could not slow him down. But a fight with Crawford would be completely different. That was the main point Breadman wanted to make. Crawford is not a young boxer still learning at the highest level. He is a proven veteran who can read opponents' set traps, make adjustments, and punish mistakes that many fighters never even notice. So even though Boots looked dominant against Xander, it does not mean the same result would happen against Bud. Breadman's message is clear. Boots is a gifted fighter, but Crawford presents a completely different challenge. Xander may have looked like easy work, but Crawford would be anything but easy.
That's big.
Yeah, I don't think he has a glass jaw, Mills. I think that he's a durable guy, but I think that we overestimated, not we, but just the boxing world just overestimated his size and his fundamentals. I do. I think, and Boots' supposed lack of defense. Xander is the one with the leaky defense. He could not miss him. But Xander was never criticized for his defense. You know what I'm saying, bro? He never gets criticized.
Have you been seeing a lot of people saying that? Why did he fight this type of fight?
Yes.
Seen him fight, Brett?
Yes, and I thought he would box more, but you got to remember in the first round, Boots was killing him with the jab.
Facts.
And he dropped him. So Xander probably said, if I stay on the end of this, he gonna pick me apart all night because he's just too fast and too sharp.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably said, let me just be bigger and stronger and go to work and try to do what Karen did in the second fight and see if that works, because he was on the end of that hot shit early, and Boots is so much quicker than he is. He probably said, man, I can't stay out here all night. See, we was talking about the size and the reach and all that kind of stuff. Bro.
Meanwhile, Okoye shared his own opinion about Terence Crawford, saying Bud believes he is 10 steps ahead of Jaron Boots Ennis. Okoye viewed that statement as classic Crawford confidence. He was not talking about being physically stronger. He meant that Crawford believes he thinks quicker, reads opponents faster, and understands the fight before Boots has a chance to settle in. That is why the claim of being 10 steps ahead caught so much attention. Crawford is basically saying that talent, size, and power alone are not enough when facing a fighter who has mastered the mental side of boxing.
I thought he would beat Zayas too. But when you look at Crawford's career, until the end of his career, Crawford hadn't fought anybody that people thought that had a chance against him. You know what I'm saying? That was his biggest criticism, was his strength of opposition. So for him to use that same criticism on an up-and-coming Boots not at the tail end of his career. He's ascending, and he's fighting guys like that, right? So I think that that's the only knock I had, was to try to knock the opponent was my issue. But him going back and forth and saying what he think he can do against the Boots, I get that. You're a fighter. Fighters think like that. I don't think Boots said the same easy work, you know what I mean? Which, that's just the way fighters are, because they look at it like, at the end of the day, I think I got a good chance against anybody. Otherwise, you don't put the gloves on.
Bernie the boxer viewed this matchup as a true test of skill and experience. Boots has youth-size speed and confidence, especially now that he feels stronger in his new weight class. But Crawford is the type of fighter who does much more than rely on power. He studies his opponents, makes smart adjustments, sets traps, and takes advantage of every mistake they make.